I just want to show this a little bit, and that is, it's easy to say that we never achieve anything, that all we hear is bad news and bad news and bad news. People donate, 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 and do things ever become better? Those are just some examples. I'm not going to go through every one of those, but 2 billion people now have access to clean water, and 30 years ago they did not. In terms of child mortality, and these are children under 5 years of age, nowadays the mortality rate is 7 million children die per year. It used to be 12 million. In terms of HIV/AIDS, there is a goal for by the way, this is not CRS work. This is our collective humanitarian communities work. In terms of HIV/AIDS, it was very important to have zero transmission so that we could contain the HIV/AIDS problem within one generation and treat that generation. Nowadays, the availability of ART medication will stop that transmission. We have a 2% transmission rate, so it's not perfect yet, but that drug has done a lot towards the goal of zero transmission. And I just want to say, CRS, in collaboration with a lot of our Caritas partners and other medical partners, received the largest grant in terms of distributing ART drugs in 10 African countries. People will say the church did a lot. The church did, and it was responsible for reaching everyone, every AIDS patient in 10 African countries. I mean, you have to think about the logistics. That's very difficult work because many of these countries do not have roads. In addition to it, it's a very fuzzy drug to use. It has to be stored very properly. It has to be used very consistently. And once people are on that medication, they have to double their nutrition intake. And they will also have to take it for the rest of their lives. In addition to that, they also deal with social stigma. And there's a lot of behavioral change. So just that body of work gives you a sense. I'm going to skip. Here is basically to let people know we still have a lot of work to do, but not unlimited. Poverty now has been reduced by more than a half. You can say a lot of it was due to India and China, maybe, but actually we see improvement in other African countries. There's about still 1 billion people living under $1.25 a day. From my work, I will now conclude that poverty is not the biggest challenge, but violence is. If there is no violence, you can make steady gains. When there is violence, it's just unsteady. It's very difficult to work, and the work that you do gets undone. A little bit more of those statistics in terms of 800 million people who go to bed hungry. There's still a lot of stunting of children. Maternal health is not where it needs to be. There's a lot of trafficking. And in some places, there's growing inequality as the economy improves. So a country may become more prosperous as a whole, but it doesn't mean that it gets down to the bottom. Just a little bit, and I'm not going to focus along on this, and that is, I said that this is our gospel mission, and the part for us is action. Faith requires action. St. James said in his letter, says, if someone, a neighbor says, I'm hungry, I have no food, I have no clothes, and all you can say is, I wish you a good day, that's just not good enough. And that faith without action is dead. And so our faith, in order to really honestly live it, requires us to really reach out. And the church does have a preferential option for the poor. God cares for all, but God cares a lot for those who have nothing. And he calls us to not close our eyes to those who have nothing.